you seeing toxicity in the Chelsea fan base towards Cole Palmer? Because there seems to be a lot online.
Yeah, definitely, man. There's people going both ways at the minute. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people at the minute that didn't want Maresca to come to the club for various reasons. He's a championship manager. You know, even when we were winning games, bro, you didn't see these guys outside. They wasn't giving this guy no credit whatsoever. And all of a sudden, when the team started to fall off, you're seeing them coming out like hyenas, right? And you've got the same issue right now with Cole Palmer, where it's like Cole Palmer is playing like this because of Maresca. There's no blame whatsoever on the player. And I'm like, bro, how can you not have any balance whatsoever when I'm seeing Cole Palmer getting in similar positions as to what he was getting in last year, but he's not being clinical, right? We talk about decision-making with Bruno. Palmer's decision-making this season has been poor, right? And I've been telling you lot, even from the start of the season, yes, there's a few games where Palmer's been playing in the right half space in the first half. Second half, we come out, he's playing on the left. You know what I mean? Certain games, I think, against the bigger teams, he could have played on the right, so he has a little bit more space, right? But this season, he has been getting a lot of chances and he has not been clinical as what he was last year, right? Now you've got people saying it was Poch that gave him the freedom. No, it's Palmer himself who's not been clinical, right? Yesterday, he had 2 chances he should be burying, right? He doesn't score the goal, yeah? I know Nkuku's shit up top, but there's been so many games I'm seeing Nkuku running in behind. Palmer just ignores him, yeah? Against Arsenal, I remember Jackson was running through on goal. Palmer could have just slipped it through to him. He passes it to Neto, yeah? So people need to actually wake up and have a little bit of balance when they're analysing the game. Because even me, like, you don't know I didn't like Gallagher, right? But what I did say was Gallagher deserves a new contract after how he's been playing. And if it's up to me, I would use him as someone you bring off the bench, just like what Simeone is doing right now. You bring him off the bench to bring a little bit more energy, to see out some fires and whatnot. He might get you a goal like what he did the other day. He might create here and there. That's me being balanced as much as I don't like the player. There's so many people in this fan base that can't do that, Terry, right? They made up their mind about something. They lie about the player or the manager. They over-exaggerate things, right? All because of their agenda. You know what I'm saying? So everyone right now, these people that want Maresca out, Cole Palmer's not been playing that well. It's all on Maresca. I don't look at it like that, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. Palmer, for me, it's about 70% Palmer's fault, about 30% Maresca, right? He's been getting in many, many similar situations as to last season. But him himself, he needs to look at himself and improve quickly as well, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is what it is at the end of the day, Don. Obviously, I didn't watch the Chelsea game yesterday because United were playing at the same time. But it's you've mentioned it. It's been a few games now where Palmer just hasn't been himself. And they used to just say he stat pads against the smaller teams. He's not even doing this right now. The issue is that at the end of the day, it's always the easiest analysis, which is the lazy analysis, as I like to call it. And Cole Palmer, because of the first season that he had so much love from the fans that though it's always going to be easier now to scapegoat the manager versus the player. But I've watched enough Chelsea games this season where I had conversations with you and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I think Maresca is not utilizing the players to their best ability. But when you're saying the player has been in similar positions for where he was last season, where he was getting all these goals and assists, and you look at him this season and he's in similar situations, just making the wrong decisions. And to be fair, I've watched enough Chelsea games where I'm like, how the hell did Palmer miss that? How did he not hit the target? How did he overhit that pass? How did he underhit that pass? It leaves me with this question, though. Where do you go when Palmer is not really performing at his best? Because I don't see a lot of solutions for you right now. I'm hearing that you guys want to send Sancho back to us. You might even pay a penalty for that. You're going to sign Kwanda for apparently I'm hearing 50 million. Where I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know what kind of trafficking you're doing in Chelsea, but you didn't need another 18-year-old winger in this squad right now. Where do you go from here? That's the question that I have.
Bro, listen, Maresca could have been braver. You know, I know Palmer's our best player, right? But for me, there's been many games where he could have brought on João Felix. I know João Felix isn't everyone's cup of tea, but you trust your bench, bro, and you let them do something different. You know, Cole Palmer trying to play him through this confidence, it hasn't really helped him. And it hasn't helped the squad because he saw Felix. He's not happy. He's gone AC Milan. We've weakened the squad. That's someone that could come on and done something different. You know, Dewsbury, he hasn't really had many opportunities to do much, right? For me, his confidence has been on the floor. We spoke about him last week. If you watch his performance yesterday in the second half, after he
scored a very good goal. I saw that. Who was that? I saw the highlight. I couldn't believe it was him.
Bro, it was him. And they're the similar sort of things I was seeing him doing at Leicester. Because at Leicester, he was the main man and he had a lot of confidence. At Chelsea, he's come here and he's scared. Like I said to you last week, he's been scared to take risks. After he scored that goal yesterday, he was so good on the ball, bro. I'm seeing him trying to create for people. He left the game with like 3 key passes. That's another player that you could have been bringing off the bench to help you out a little bit. And it's not like Maresca don't know this guy. He left with 26 GA last year, bro. Yeah? Don't tell me it's the championship, because go bring me all those midfielders that got 26 GA last year in the championship, bro. Right? So it's a Maresca problem. It's a Palmer problem. It's a squad building problem. There's multiple factors here. But anyone that's just blaming this bad form Palmer's on Maresca, you're delusional, bro. And you've got an agenda solely on Maresca. You know what I'm saying?
What I think is interesting about this, and maybe it's younger football fans and they don't remember this, but young players go through what Palmer's suffering with regularly. And it's not even anything. He can work on it, but he has to work. It's like a puzzle. And people have worked out a lot of these puzzles. Okay, well, and I'm making this up here as in what they may be saying, but it will be, okay, well, we know that the tacticians will watch him, the coaches will watch him of other teams and go, well, look, he invariably, when he takes his first touch, look, 80% of the time he goes to his left. You know, when he feints to his right, 9 times out of 10, he'll then move the ball to the left as an example. They'll watch and study his game. And then the defenders and the midfielders that are up against him are taught and trained for what he's going to do in match preparation. And over a period of time, they'll work out how to counter him. That's where good to very good players become great players, when they then learn how to circumvent that, and they become different and they evolve and they change. But that takes game time. And that doesn't matter whether you're talking about a football player, that may be a tennis player, that may be a boxer, an MMA fighter. There comes a point where you kind of go up a level, or people suss you out a little bit. And I saw it last week. A lot of people think Alex Pereira won in the UFC, but actually he was up against a fighter that put a lot more pressure on him and tried to take him down. And it stopped him being able to do what he was better at, because he's normally the aggressor. So he'll go away from that and learn. And maybe what he'll now do is have more training and more coaching with people being aggressors against him, so he can hone in and change part of his technique or change a few little bits so that he becomes an even better fighter. And I just think it's not about Maresca's killing him or Palmer was a fraud all along. It's more likely to be somewhere near the middle, where maybe there's a bit of the system and the team's out of form. That's hurting him. He's young and impressionable and he's going for a bit of a bad period. But also, your opponents will do everything they can to work out how to stop you. And I've seen loads of players go through this. Bale, when he first started playing well in the Prem, when he had that little period, he then went through a little sort of 3 or 4 month place where he weren't scoring and assisting at the same level, because people worked out what he was going to do. He then went to another level by coming even better and confusing the defenders even more. And then suddenly it's like, hang on, we don't know whether he's going to go to the left or the right. We don't know whether he's going to feint this way, feint that way. And you become even harder to predict. And it's just part and parcel of the growth of a player. But as I think a lot of people, it's just, people want to pick something. Maresca's the problem, or the players are fraud. They say that day one, they stick to it, and they never change. And he could be great again now for another year, 2 years, Palmer. Then have a bad 2 months, and you'll hear the same people go, told you he was shit. Remember 2 years ago when he had that bad month, that bad 2 months? I told you he was shit. And now it's been 2 years. He's crap.
That's what it is, man.
It happens every single time.
Bro, I love Palmer, innit? I love Palmer, but these people are just really piss me off, bro. Like, usually now, I just find myself on Twitter after games. I put my little review after games, and I just go away. I close the app, and I go get on with my life and go do what I need to do outside of football, right? Because at the minute, you've got people putting Palmer on a mad pedestal as if he's bigger than Chelsea, yeah? Oh, he's going to leave next season. Bro, first of all, he's tied down on a death row contract. He ain't going anywhere, right? Unless you want to put 150 million down on the table, he ain't going anywhere. And him himself, he needs to improve, because he's not being a team player at the minute. It's like he's still trying to be that main man. Similar sort of things is what Bruno does. This year, he's got 20 G8. Fantastic, bro. Brilliant, right? Should have even more if the likes of Jackson could finish, yeah? But him himself could have even more if he had better decision-making, yeah? He needs to stop thinking everything's got to go through him. I don't want to be Cole Palmer FC, because we have to be able to win games with or without him, yeah? What happens if Palmer gets injured? Now it's, oh, shit, we don't know what to do now because everything goes through Palmer. What happens if Palmer's in bad form like this? And guys like Enzo Caicedo, they don't know what to do, yeah? The good thing is, other people have been stepping up, even though Palmer is our best player. Other people have been stepping up. Enzo Fernandez has been brilliant. Caicedo has been brilliant. Yeah. You know, that's actually what's been keeping our team together. It's our midfield, funny enough. Yeah. Enzo and Caicedo should still be in a title race because they've been brilliant, bro. You know what I'm saying? So please, people, stop trying to make Palmer feel like it's bigger than Chelsea because he's not. And this is someone that you guys know how much I like Palmer. You know what I mean? But it's getting ridiculous now, bro. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, you've got to criticize players when they're in a bad place. You just don't need to go over the top. And equally, taking it all out on the manager is crazy because there's been even last night he had chances to score goals and he didn't score. That's not the that's where I defend all. That's where I defend all managers. You know, it's if players are missing. Like when we played Sociedad last week and Rasmus is clean through and Delo doesn't pass in the ball, I'm just not blaming the coach for that. I can't do it. I can't blame the manager for Delo not making that pass. I can't. For me, because you could tell by the manager's reaction, like, what you're doing, that isn't part of the plan, as an example. So, yeah, it's and there's no way Maresca's coaching. Listen, I know there's better coaches than others, but there's no way they're not doing enough shooting and passing drills. For Palmer, he's just going through a bad period right now.
And decision making, as much as people like to think so, it's one of the hardest things to teach a player because decision making is muscle memory, it is instinct. Players get in a situation. There's players, the first thing they want to do is pass. There's players, the first thing they want to do is shoot. The first thing they want to do is dribble. You can't coach sometimes these things into players, especially at an old age. If you're coaching a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old at a very young stage of football, yeah, you can teach kids a lot of things still.
Yeah.
But when you make it to senior football, what is a manager meant to do when most of your decisions are leading to turnovers and stuff like that? And people don't want to see that.
I hear that. And I think as well, look, one thing Palmer was brilliant at is, I'll explain it in the most simple way I can. He used to shoot a lot before anybody expected him to, if that makes sense. So defenders, goalkeepers aren't set, but there becomes a time when you get used to that. And even, listen, I'm not someone that thinks you should compare real football to FIFA, but the concept is the same on that. You've all played FIFA online against someone and they start, fucking, I scored 2 goals in the first couple of minutes. And then you get used to there might be someone that plays 1-2s and then you realize all I'm going to do now is when he plays that ball into his striker and then lays it off for a 1-2 for a through ball, I'm just going to have a defender run alongside him and I'll cut the ball out every time. I think when you're playing most sports, most games, computer games, ball games, as soon as you can work someone's strategy out, you can work someone's approach out. The real great players then learn how to vary things more, and they become absolutely elite at the highest level. And Palmer isn't going through anything that I didn't see Rooney, that I didn't see Ronaldo, that I didn't see Messi go through. And I picked that out because in my kind of sort of late teens and in my adulthood, those were the three of the greatest players, like attackers that played in that time. They've all been through this. So for those greats to go through it, to expect Palmer not to, is fucking stupidity.
Exactly. And that's what it is for me. Like, I know Palmer will be back. You know, this is part of his journey, man. It's the first time in his career where he's actually had, you know, game time week after week. He's the main man. He's the face of, for me, arguably the Prem, bro. You know what I mean? I see this guy everywhere when it comes to the Prem, right? Especially last season. Arguably, that's what I said, arguably, right?
Yeah.
But there's still things that we need to do to help him. You know, he's had over 30 chances created, not a single goal converted from that. Yeah. You know, he's still sitting on 20 GA and he hasn't even been amazing. And that's a sign of a good player. You know, last season I was talking about Saka. You know, GNA is putting up numbers, but he wasn't performing well. This year, it's been the complete opposite. He was putting up numbers and he was playing well. That's what I expect from Palmer because that's what he was doing last season, right? So, again, get over it, innit? People that think it's going to fall off now, it's not going to happen, bro. He's too good for that. He'll be back. He'll be back.
I hear that. A few super chats here. First one says, and member chats, Don has been brainwashed by a championship manager. 1 billion spent. You need to be doing better.
How have I been brainwashed when I've literally been criticizing this guy for weeks? People just say things. Brainwashed, deluded, like, it's all these buzzwords, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, big up yourself.